Hi guys, it's Petr, so I'm recording another live new episode of my challenge number 4 with Roulette. And already I can tell you this episode has more than 40 minutes. It's very long, and what I also can immediately tell you, then the whole session is extremely difficult. I'm going through the very tough drawdown, and you will see how do I handle that and what I did all the time. I can tell you also then I'm changing my base bets several times during a play. So I started already with increased base bet 30 cents. Maybe therefore I had a tough session because I increased base bet, right? Of course, like a joke. So the whole session was very difficult, as I said, and I'm going through the more than 50% drawdown. But as I told you, so if I have such a small, let's say, bankroll like 400 or 800 or maybe less than 1000, I always take this bankroll like all in. So I play without stop loss because simply the experience showed me then it is worth to play on maximum what you can. If you have such a low bankroll, if you would have 3,000-4,000 already, then of course going down from 4,000 to 1,000 is really something what you don't want to allow. So therefore I always set up a stop loss, but this time I'm again, as I said, playing with all my stack, and I'll give you some inside information what actually I was doing all the session, because it's a long one, so you will see, of course you can click through the video because it's more than 40 minutes, but it's very important session and recording for you, because the second strategy was 2 times not successful, even then I was playing with a, let's say, higher base bet. So normally it is very difficult such a session, therefore always saying be careful with your base bet. 30 cents is already relatively high comparing to my initial stack, like almost 900. So I would still should recommend to you then use 20 cents, even then you have 1,000, and once you would reach 1,500, then I think switching to 30 cents it's quite okay. So in my case I maybe started too early with 30 cents, and therefore I had such a tough session. I can tell you at the end I recovered completely from my huge drawdown. But why I published this session is then because exactly these sessions are the most important and most difficult sessions for you. If everything goes right and you reach your risk ratio 10-0 and finish the session, it's quite easy. And only in case if you go such a bigger drawdown, this is a difficult one, so you should still keep focus on the game. What I did all the time, I used crawler. I used always predictions coming from Coral app all the time. No exception, no changing anything, no guessing some numbers. I always play based on the prediction coming from a Coral app. What I reached also is a limit for the bet on one number. As you know, in Casino Club, if you play table with a minimum base bet 10 cents, the maximum base bet on one number is €5. Therefore I would need to bet more, but actually it was not possible because of this limit. Therefore my maximum bet on one number was just 5. Maybe it's good so doesn't matter. I still managed that, even that there is such a limit. And again I repeat, I always follow the predictions coming from Ocloro, even then I was really down with my bank roll. And what actually literally saved my ass was then beast mode and beast first strategy never lost. Beast always won. Maybe it was something like 17 or 18-0 risk ratio at the end of the session, so it was really very much helpful. And the beast mode first strategy finished something like €450 in a plus, because I was say increasing the base bet for both strategies once I was down. So as I said, if you wanna really learn how I use the Roulette app, even then I have an extremely difficult session and table and many things are going wrong. So actually I missed progression 2 times for second strategy, and for the second missed progression it was even with a higher base bet, therefore there was a bigger drawdown. But anyway, I think this is exactly a session which you should watch and try. Also, let's say play the similar way if you use Roulette app, because what I did, I was very down. I always followed the predictions from Roulette app. I only manage and change base bets for both strategies once I partially recovered from, let's say, even almost touching 400 or 500. Once I reach again more than 700, I decrease my base bet from 2 to 1, still keeping 1 base bet for both strategies. And I needed several times to win, and once this happened, then I finished. It's very small profit the whole session, but I'm still here, so my, let's say, stake very slightly increased. But such sessions are not happening so often, so time to time you have such a extremely difficult one, and I do not pretend then these sessions don't exist. Of course, even if you use any app or doesn't matter which system, simply the huge advantage which I see in a Roulette app, then I have 2 strategies and providing the numbers prediction on completely different ideas and algorithms. Therefore they are good complementary to each other, so they support each other. So it's very rare that both strategies would be going through a drawdown and not successful progression. So it's mostly not happening to me, but the one of them is normal, then you will miss, for example, 1 progression. That's quite normal and it happens time to time. So I would say you can of course watch the whole session and you will see that somewhere in the middle and mostly to the end of the session I suffer because my bankroll is lower. That's clear. In total I'm playing something more than 200 spins and I'm able to recover from this drawdown. So if you imagine, then if you would start immediately with the base bet not 30 cents but 1 or 2, so you could, Beast would deliver to you within these 200 spins something like 450 euro profit. And so these amounts are already interesting. So as I always saying, once you start playing with the bigger bankrolls like 3,000-4,000, then you can really see interesting amounts to be reached within very short time if everything goes right. If not, you still have a lot of options what to do. So you have still both strategies providing predictions. You can always increase a base bet, and of course in a very rare case you lose your whole deposit. This will always happen. The longer you play, the higher chance of course is there that you will lose several deposits. That's absolutely normal. But if you follow my long-term strategy and using the really proper money management and maybe also copy my style, so I can tell you then this is a huge help to really stay and profit for a long-term perspective, and it works for me already many years. So therefore you can, again, as I said, watch and learn from this episode. It's very extreme difficult one, I confirmed, and simply for me it was also very difficult, but actually I managed to come back, and I hope then immediately next one which I will play will be much easier, as is normal. It happens normally then once you reach extreme one and difficult one like this episode or live play, then the next one on maybe several next sessions are quite easy going and you are winning. So maybe the reason why, if I recap the reason why the second strategy had a really tough time and 2 times was not successful. So the reason was then normally some numbers are pushed because of some others, based on some fixed patterns and maximum hit and so on. And this times this was not really working because the numbers which should push the others were actually repeating themselves, not actually pushing these other numbers coming from fixed patterns and maximum hit and combination of that. Therefore it was difficult. But there was also one interesting session, or during a play, I can tell you it was extremely unlucky because I was betting on number 13 using second strategy, maybe 40 spins in a row, and it didn't come. And then I stopped because I received new numbers prediction, and immediately once I stopped betting on number 13 of course came, and not just once but twice. And in this case, if this number 13 would repeat twice, just a few numbers earlier, then I would completely very quickly recover, because I was betting 40 spins and several times in a row for this number. Unfortunately it was very close. Immediately once I stopped betting on number 13, this number came twice. So also sometimes can happen, of course. It's a bit emotional because you see betting yourself on this number so often, and once you stop, immediately it came. But doesn't matter. So as I said, once again I repeat, I always follow the prediction from a Crawl app using both strategies, increasing base bets, coming back from my drawdown, which was a really big one this time. So I would say thank you very much for watching this long episode, and I think that this will be also helpful for you once you see how I'm playing with the money management and strategies. So thank you very much for watching, and I'll be happy to see you next time. Bye bye.